Kenwood Sports, man. Week two. We got the Saints. We got the Saints traveling to Dallas, man, to play the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's World. Now, I feel much better about this game for the Saints if it was in New Orleans. Everybody know it's hard to play in New Orleans. The crowd get loud. The crowd get behind their team. I can say the same thing for Dallas, man. It's going to be easier for Dallas to play in this game versus the Cowboys. I know the Saints going to be up for this game. We got Derek Carr versus Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, he 2-1 versus the Saints since he been in Dallas. And Derek Carr, he 1-1 versus Dallas. But both of those games that he played Dallas, he was in the Oakland Raiders uniform at that time. And let me say this out the gate. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed with what the Saints did last week. I'm not impressed with what the Dallas Cowboys did last week. Why do I say that about the Dallas Cowboys? Because of Deshaun Watson, the play that I seen from Deshaun Watson. What I see against the Saints and the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young is the worst quarterback in the NFL, man. He got to be the worst quarterback. Him and Daniel Jones got to be the worst two that's starting. I'm gonna just say that because last week they made Sam Darnold look like he was Dan Marino out there last week. I'm gonna say this: the offense can't stay on the field, and the defense got to keep getting on the field, back to back possessions, 3 and out, turnover. The defense gonna wear down, and the offense gonna have just a free reign out there at them, and that's what I think will happen with the Saints. 47 points they put up. It was the 47-10. I believe, I'm not sure what the Dallas Cowboys score was. It wasn't that big of a blowout, but they really ran away with that game. Deshaun Watson, he looked bad. If y'all seen my last video or two that I did, I'm talking about Deshaun Watson and the Dallas Cowboys. Deshaun Watson, like I said, I'm gonna give him a little bit more time, but he is looking bad. He looking terrible out there. I didn't expect that from him. I expected by now, at least starting the beginning of the year, he'll be looking much better. He didn't have Nick Chubb out there, but that's not what this video about. This video about the Saints and the Dallas Cowboys. But both teams did what they were supposed to do. Saints did what they were supposed to do at home. Dallas did what they were supposed to do versus the Cleveland Browns. That offensive line, I'm not gonna lie, that offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys held up against the Browns defensive line. They did their job. They did what they had to do. Running game, Zeke, I'm not even worried about what Zeke gonna do. You slow Zeke down within the first 4 or 5 yards, he don't really have that same blast, that same get up and go like how he used to when he was younger, the younger Zeke. Alvin Kamara, on the other hand, get him in space. I feel like they got the advantage at the running back position. I'm not sure how much Dalvin Cook gonna play. Dalvin Cook is a good pickup. He's one of my favorite college running backs. I told y'all that in my last video. I don't know how much playing time he gonna get with the Dallas Cowboys on this Sunday, but I like Alvin Kamara in this role with Jamal Williams backing him up. Now, the advantage that I believe that Dallas is going to have over the Saints, I'm going to just say this out the gate. With Marshawn Lattimore, he didn't practice on Wednesday. I'm not sure how much work he did Thursday. It's going to be tough on him to deal with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has gotten better and better as the time has went on. Brandon Cooks, I know all about Brandon Cooks. He started with the Saints. He did his thing with the Rams. He did his things with the Patriots. He did his things with the Texans. Everywhere Brandon Cooks go, he show up. He do what he got to do. He explosive. He got hands. He got speed. He got all that. Alontae Taylor is a young corner for the Saints. I believe in him a lot. I seen what he did last year. Last week, as a matter of fact, he had 3 sacks against the Panthers. Granted, it was against the Panthers, but still, no, he had 3 sacks. That's pretty good for a corner. Matter of fact, I believe that's like a record, a tie. Multiple corners have that same statistic: 3 sacks from the corner position. That was a good job. I'm not even gonna lie. I can't front. Anybody get 3 sacks from the corner position, I credit Dennis Allen with that. That's the head coach. He's also was a defensive coordinator before Sean Payton. Before Sean Payton left the Saints, he was the defensive coordinator. He did a hell of a job at defensive coordinator. And with Chase Young coming in, with that defensive line, Carl Granderson, I love what he's doing on that defensive line. Kalen Saunders with Cam Jordan against going up against this Dallas young offensive line. Dallas don't have that same offensive line that they had over the years. They did what they had to do versus the Browns. We're gonna see if they hold up against the Saints. Now the Saints second level, Demario Davis, one of the talented defensive linebackers in the league. He just not the same no more as far as his lateral movement, left right movement. Then you got I got the Honey Badger. He's not the same no more. So I'm worried about guys in the second and the third level of the defense. He's still talented. He still got that mindset. He still know his assignments. That's why I still believe in Tyrann Mathieu. He's one of my favorite players to ever come out of LSU. I'm always gonna support him, but I gotta be honest about him. He's not the same player that he was. So with that being said, I feel like Dak Prescott with his receivers got an advantage over the Saints with the injury over Marshawn Lattimore, the young Alontae Taylor, the experience of Brandon Cooks. Willie Gay, let me not forget about Willie Gay Jr. that came over from the Kansas City Chiefs. His experience is gonna play a big part in this matchup. Both of these teams gonna have to this not gonna be. I don't believe this is gonna be much of a measuring stick for Dallas Cowboys, but I think it's gonna be more of a measuring stick for the Saints. So the Saints got to come out here and really make a statement. This is a statement game for the Saints. Derek Carr, I'm trying to like this dude more over the last 5 or 6 games. I'm gonna say the last 5 games from last year to this year. Week 1, he's thrown 15 touchdowns with 1 interception. That's pretty good. That's not bad. And they put the Saints in a good position last year. The reason why the Saints missed the playoffs, well, it was one game last year. The Saints was up 17-0 against Green Bay at Green Bay. Derek Carr went out of that game. Jameis Winston came in that game and lost that lead, a 17-point lead. The quarterback, Jordan Love, came in and he did his thing against the Saints secondary in that game. But back to Derek Carr. Derek Carr, he's throwing 15 touchdowns to 1 interception. He got to stop checking the ball down. That's not going to work against the Dallas defense. Diggs is back for the Cowboys. Jordan Lewis out there. And Trevor Penning. The matchup, Trevor Penning with what's his name? Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons is a beast. We already know Michael Parsons is an animal. That's going to be a matchup. I told y'all that Saints offensive line is young. Eric McCoy playing center, and Cesar Ruiz, he is a center, but he playing right guard for the Saints. So that's something I'm worried about. DeMarcus Lawrence, like I said, he a presence on that defensive line. He a little bit older now, but he's still a presence. You got to Derek Carr gonna have to get the ball down the field. He gonna have to get the ball down the field early and often. He can't come out there checking down on Kamara. We got to get Kamara in space, and we're gonna have to also use my tight end. We definitely gonna have to use my tight end. Excuse me, I'm having a mind slip. Jawan Johnson. Jawan Johnson gonna have to catch some passes. You gotta use Chris Olave. He only had 2 targets last week. The dude got to get at least 7 to 10 targets. He your number 1 option. I love Rashid Shaheed. He getting plays down the field. He making big catches. He making big plays. I think he had like a 60-yard touchdown. I'm proud of what the Saints did against the Panthers defense. The Panthers defense is a really good team. I like that team. But we gotta get the ball down to Chris Olave. Chris Olave is the number 1 receiver for the Saints, and he only had two targets. That's unacceptable. So the focus will be getting those guys the ball. The focus will be getting the Saints the ball. The Saints getting the ball to Chris Olave. The backup running back gonna play a role, I feel. When you talk about running the ball up to in between the tackles, because like I said, Kamara got to get the ball in space, running the ball to the outside, catching the ball. You got to utilize him for everything that he got. So this is gonna be a good game for the Saints to be measuring themselves for. Dallas Cowboys, I don't want to say that for them because they're in the NFC East. They playing stiffer competition than the Saints playing in that division. The Saints went 9-8 last year, almost could have won the division. 9-8. The Bucks went 9-8. The Bucks went 4-2 in the division. The Saints went 4-2 in the division, but the Bucks won six NFC games, and the Saints won 5 NFC games. And that was the measuring stick that they used to put the Bucks in the playoffs over the Saints. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on this game, and I'm gonna get back with y'all on the next one.